Hi, I'm Julie. I am the Regional Sales Manager from Idaho, and I had a lot of fun putting this webinar about samples together. There's a lot of great tips that we have to offer you today. I'd like to start with, why do we sample to our customers and to our potential customers? Well, there's a lot of reasons. The first one is that it can help build relationships and rapport. Whether you're meeting somebody for the first time at a craft fair, or you have one of your beloved customers in your home and you are telling them about a product that you love and that you use in your own home. That gives you a chance to have a conversation, to build a relationship, and to also build loyalty from them. Another reason is that it can help build knowledge. Your customers are going to want to know about our products. They want to know how they work. They want to know what's good about them. For instance, these are our Buttermilk Biscuits. They come frozen and packaged like this. And so if your customer can see that this is how they come packaged, that they can put them in the oven to warm them, or they can put them individually into the microwave, having that visual helps them to see what it is and how that could maybe work in their lives, or how that can help them. So you're giving them knowledge. That's another reason. Another thing is that you're building their confidence. A lot of times customers are afraid to order a product that comes in bulk or a larger item when they don't know how it's going to taste or if they're going to like it. And so if you can let them see what it looks like, you can let them see how it's packaged, you can tell them why you're using it or how you love it in your home, and then let them taste it, that's going to build their confidence so that they're going to want to try that product themselves. Now, a word about why samples don't work. Some of you have sampled out products lots of times, and you've told me or you've told other people, well, sampling just doesn't work for me. No one ever buys the products that I sample. Let me tell you why. The reason why is because you have to follow up. People can come to your house and love the product that they're eating, but they're going to forget about it and they're not going to remember when it's time to order. So it's really important that you follow up in one of two ways. When they are tasting the food and they love it, they're eating that soup supreme, and you've just told them how they can get dinner, a warm, yummy dinner on the table while they're at work, then they're going to then you say, "Oh, you love this. I see that you love this. Would you like me to add it to your order?" And because that you can go in and put something in their shopping cart, as soon as they leave, or you can make a list and do it for everybody, you can just go in and put that into the shopping cart if they've said that that's something they want. And then it's there when they go in to place their order, or if you go back later to place the order, it's already there and you're not going to forget. And then of course the other one is when you're doing your reminders that month, when you're sending out texts, when you're talking to people on the phone, say, "Hey, remember this really yummy soup supreme that we tried? Would you like me to add that to your order?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was so good. In fact, I want the two. I want the tomato and I want the chicken noodle." And so that's the secret. That's the secret to making those samples work for you, is to sample them out and then follow up. Always ask for the order. That's where the success is going to be. Let me share an experience with you about what happened one time when I was sampling. I decided to sample pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, and I did not set just one day that I was going to offer the samples. The problem I ran into was two things. The first was that the cookies were so good that we just kept eating them. So between customers, I would eat like 3 or 4 of them. And then when I would walk out of the kitchen, my kids and my husband would come in and they'd eat 3 or 4 of them. And so I never had enough cookies for when my customers were coming to pick up the cookies. So I had to keep baking more batches and more batches. And I usually have pickup 3 or 4 days in a row. And so every day I was just cooking more cookies and more cookies because we couldn't stop eating them and we couldn't keep up with it. So a couple of tips about that. First of all, if you're going to sample when people pick up their orders, it's a great idea to tell them, first of all, what you'll be sampling and when you will be sampling. On the first day of pickup, I will be sampling the pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. So come the first day so you can get a warm cookie. And then that way you don't have to try and keep your samples fresh for more than one day. So if it's a hot soup, you don't have to worry if it's getting cold on the second day. Or if it's something that's cold, you don't have to worry about it getting warm. Any of that kind of stuff, keeping your samples fresh on one day is going to be a lot easier. And secondly, that also gives your customers the reason to come on the first day of pickup so that they can try whatever yummy food it is that you're offering them that day. So keep that in mind too. So a couple of things about that. Now, a lot of you are worried about what to sample to your customers. There are so many things you can sample to your customers. You could really just open the book to a page, close your eyes, stick your finger on it, and that would be a great item to sample. Any of the food that we offer is great. But let me give you a few tips about sampling. First of all, start with your favorites. One of our family favorites is the pizza sticks. They are so delicious, and you can cut them in half half, you can put them on a napkin, you can pop them in a plastic cup, and then when your customer comes, you can send it home with them. You could also put a couple of cups into you could put a couple of the pizza sticks frozen into a Ziploc bag and send them home and say, hey, put these in your freezer until you're ready to eat them. So lots of ways that you could sample these. The other thing that you want to consider when you are offering samples is what's easy to prepare, what's easy to serve, and what is easy to share with your customers. Another great tip when you're offering samples at pickup is you want to plan ahead. The day before the truck comes is probably not the best day to decide what it is that you're going to sample out to your customers. If you can decide what you're going to sample to your customers when you're placing your own order, then you can make sure that you are adding that to your order and that you're going to have enough to sample and you're going to have what you need and you're ready to go. Plus that gives you plenty of time to make labels if it's something you're just going to be popping into people's boxes as they leave and walk out the door. Okay. When you're doing samples, there's lots of ways to sample. So I want to take a minute and tell you about everything that's on my table. One of the things that I like to do when my customers come to pick up their order is I like to have some sort of a table display. If I have just gotten a new product, I want to set it out on the table, or some of my other products that are not food items, I like to set on my table so I can talk to my customers about them. Because while I'm out in the freezer grabbing their food, then all they have is just to stand there and look at what's on my table. So that's what I do. One of the most successful things that I've ever sampled, and I didn't even really sample it, is I just had it out on my table, was the blue apple refills. This is something we love so much at our house because it saved me so much money on fresh produce, because my produce will last an extra at least 2 weeks in my refrigerator because I'm using these. So when my customers would come, I would just get them out and show them the apple. I would open it up. I would show them what it looks like on the inside. I would tell them how it works for me, and then I would tell them how great it is. And I think I sold 1 month, I sold like 10 of them. So offering those kinds of things. You can also do like slow cooker liners. Wouldn't it be great just to send everybody, just pop this into everybody's box? It's labeled with what it is, the item number, and how much it costs. Or these veggie zips. These are so great, you guys. And if I can have these sitting on my table when people come to pick up their orders, then they can look it over, they can hold it in their hands, they can read about it on the back, all while they're waiting for me to pick up the stuff out of their freezer. And I try to do that fairly quickly. But like Shirley J Universal sauce, if you can see how cute these little spice containers are, it makes you want to order them. So a lot of times I'll have a display out when people come to pick up their order, or I'll tell them about a new product. Look at these are so great, this is why I love them. And then that helps to have that. Also, having a visual really makes a difference. These are the 2 sizes of the deli containers, and then I can tell them what they look like, how much I love them at my house, all the different ways we use them, and then throw 1 or 2 of them with a lid into their order so that they can take it home. So great way to do that. So many things you can sample. A lot of times when people come, they come with their kids, and so it's great if you can offer them a muffin. These are our blueberry muffins. Any of our baked goods are going to be great. If you do the cake, cream, and muffin mix, there's so many different ways that you can prepare that to send home with your customers. So with these, we can either have them taste it while they're with me, or I can pop it in a Ziploc bag and send it home with them, and they can share it with their kids or whoever. Beehive rolls, oh my goodness. When you came to my house, wouldn't you just want to grab one of these and throw some of our yummy jam on it? And then you can tell them about our cinnamon rolls. There's just so many things that you can do. One way that you can say thank you to your customers is to send them home with one of our loaf pans. These are fantastic. And what a great way to say thank you to one of your best customers, to send them home with a loaf of our blueberry muffin mix, or our pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. Or, I mean, there's just, the possibilities are so endless with what you can do with these kinds of things. Another fruit. You could put in your cup, you could just get some of our frozen fruit, put it in a little cup, and hand them that and say, this is what our fruit looks like. You can see how big the chunks are. You can see how fresh it tastes. You could do a vegetable here. One of the things we did, isn't this cute? You can do French fries. These are our black pepper French fries, just already in the ketchup. So as they're walking out the door, they've come at 5 o'clock, they're hungry, and they can eat this on their way home. Hopefully they won't spill the ketchup on their lap. But all of these things are just great ways that you can do, but really when you use your imagination, the possibilities truly are endless with the different things that you can do. One of the things I like to do when I'm offering samples to a new customer is I like to attach it to the catalog, and I like to attach a sample that has a lot of smell to it. Like our Montreal steak seasoning, even in the package you can smell it. Or our vanilla French toast sugar. So when someone gets this package, they're gonna go, I smell that, what is that? And so it has the label on it, and then a lot of times inside the catalog I'll put information about me and how it works and all of those kinds of things. So then I can hand somebody a new catalog. I'm introducing Allison's Pantry to them. Hey, have you ever heard about Allison's Pantry? I've put a sample with your order. You're gonna really wanna try this. Another option is like our spinach dip. There's enough spinach dip in here to make 2 packages or two batches of it, and the recipe's on the outside of it. So you could pop this into somebody's box. You could hand this to somebody when you're handing them a new catalog. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. So there's a lot of ways that you can sample products to people. One way is any kind of time there's a fundraiser or a raffle and they're looking for free gifts for that. Put together a basket of Allison's Pantry products to send out. Anytime you're giving people Allison's Pantry products, that's giving them an opportunity to try them, and then they're going to want more of them. So that also means that anytime you serve food, you want to serve Allison's Pantry food. If you're taking food to the neighbor that's sick, if you're taking food to the school function, the church potluck, it's your turn to bring treats to work. Anytime you're doing any of that, always serve Allison's Pantry food, because when you serve the food, people love it. It speaks for itself. And then people be, oh, I need the recipe for that. Or, oh, why is that so good? And that gives you an open segue to say, here's the catalog. Or this is Allison's Pantry and this is why I love it. And then that doesn't put you in a pushy sales position. You're just telling about people what they're already asking you questions about. You're opening yourself up for that. Another great way to sample is to offer samples at the dentist office, the doctor's office, the hair salon, any of those kinds of things. But let me give you a couple of tips about that. Actually, let me tell you what I did first. And maybe this isn't the best idea, but it worked for me. I took the little Ziploc bags, the sample size were these little ones, and I put a piece of our pre-cooked bacon in it cold. And I just ran into the bank and I said, you guys, this bacon is so good, you will love it cold. And they ate it cold and they loved it and they bought it because it was that good. But when you're going to one of those places, then prepare some food. You could prepare brownies, you could do a spinach dip with mix, you could do a lunch, you could do soup supreme and beehive rolls. And then you go in when they're hungry. Go at lunchtime or go at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when everybody is starving. And go to the dollar store and buy some dishes from the dollar store, like buy a fancy plate from the dollar store or a fancy bowl that you're going to put the dip in. And then you take it in to everybody, take only 5 minutes of their time, they're busy, say, hey, this is Allison's Pantry, these are the catalogs, try the food, you're going to love it. I'll come back in a couple of days to pick up my dish. And then when you go back in a couple of days to pick up your dish, you talk to them. Hey, what'd you think? Did you like the soup? Did you like the rolls? Did you know the rolls? You don't have to do anything except let them rise and throw them in the oven. They're that easy. And then you ask them for their order. And that's how you get new customers. That works so much better than just randomly leaving catalogs somewhere where you have no opportunity to follow up. When you are offering samples at a vendor show or a craft fair, I have a couple of tips about that. First of all, do not sample meat. Please do not sample meat. There are so many health codes and so many rules and regulations, and you have to keep meat at just the perfect temperature, and you're just opening yourself up for a little bit of trouble with that. So offer things that are not meat-based, and any of the things on my table would work. You could do the muffins, you could do rolls, you could do soup, you could do biscuits, you could do fruit, you could do dip. There's a lot of things that you can offer. I love to do samples when I'm doing a craft fair, and usually what I do, my favorite is the muffins, a mini muffin, and I like to stand and hold the muffins in my hand, and then as people walk by I can say, hey, would you like to try one of our muffins? Have you ever heard about Allison's Pantry? And then that gives me an opportunity to share something with them while they're opening their muffin and eating it. Then that gives me 30 seconds to tell them a little bit about Allison's Pantry and why I love it. So that's a great thing. If you are going to offer samples at a vendor show, a couple of things. First of all, if you're selling food, if you've decided that you want to offer products there, make sure that you have lots to offer of what you're sampling. If you're sampling macaroon cookies, you need to have several bags there, because as soon as they taste it, they're going to want to buy it on the spot. Also, you want to make sure that and there's, this is really an opinion thing. This is my opinion about offering samples at a vendor show. I say keep it simple. Offer 1 or 2 things. for a couple of reasons. That's going to save you a lot of work, and it's also going to make it easier when you get there, because people by nature are going to want to try a little bit of every single thing that you're offering, and that means you're going to have quadruple. So if you offer dip and you offer cookies and you offer brownies and you offer soup, you've got to have enough of all of that for every single person that comes through. Whereas if you're just offering muffins or soup, then you only need to have enough for everybody to have one of those things. Does that make sense? It's just going to make it a lot easier for you if you're just sampling one thing. However, I have a lot of reps that like to offer a lot of different things and have had a lot of success with that. So just consider that as you're working on that. When you're doing an open house at your house or a tasting party and you're letting people come to your house to try the food, or you're in someone else's home to do that, you want to have a lot of different items on display so that people can see what products look like, how they're packaged, they can ask questions about them. And then it might be fun just to do something on a theme level, like you could do an open house that's all breakfast food, or all of the baked goods, or everything seafood. So consider that as a fun way, a different way maybe when you're offering samples to people that you want for them to have an opportunity to do. So lots of different ideas today, lots of different things you can do with samples. In the PDF that I'm attaching with this, there's all of the ideas we talked about, plus there's going to be a list of things that you can sample to your customers. But please know that that's not an all-inclusive list, because like I said, the possibilities are endless. Pretty much anything that you want to sample out of your home is going to be wonderful, and the food speaks for itself. And I wish you tons of success with your samples. Thank you.
Hi. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about food safety. I know it's kind of a boring topic, and I'm really sorry, but if you've ever had any instances in your life where you've been sick from mishandled food or tainted food or anything like that, you know that food safety is very important. So as an Allison's Pantry rep, we're going to go over a few of the requirements and good plans to keeping your food safe when you're handling it for your customers. Currently, we do not require you to have a food handler's permit. It's still a good idea if you did. Because we are not preparing that food and handing it off to our customer in a prepared form, you really don't need a food handler's permit unless you're doing a show or a fair or a boutique, and then you'll have to check the requirements for those specific vendor events and see if you need one. But it's a great idea to have one, because there's a lot of good principles that they're going to teach you in the class about food handlers. So I would encourage you to get one if you don't have one. They do last for 2 years, so you're not having to do them very often. We do handle more than just frozen food. We also have dry, we have utensils, we sometimes have cleaners. So we all need to be up on the care of all of those different items that we handle. So I'm going to go over a few of the basics for food safety and, just handling those products for your customers. First off, I want to talk a little bit about some of the requirements. As far as meat goes, we do sell meat products. We have them, they usually come in a larger size case. Know this, that you cannot sell those cases broken down. You cannot open that product, especially the meat products, because the USDA has requirements that it can't be sold individually. So that would be what's considering adulterating a product. You're opening it up and breaking it down when it's not meant to be sold in that form. So you need to keep that in a case. Now, if your customer wants to sell that herself and trade with a friend or split it with a friend, that is totally fine. Let them do it after they purchase it from you. You cannot do it. As far as the bigger cases of dry items, we encourage you not to break them down. But it does happen occasionally, and I would just say to be very careful in how you go about it, that if it's a bulk item and you have to break it down with your hands, or you have your customer do it, it's best to have your customer come and break it down. If you have two ladies that split a case and they want, say the biscuits, those are totally easy because everything's pre-wrapped, the Buttermilk Biscuits, you can have the one lady come and take her half and give the other one to the other customer that's bought it. So you can do that, but be really careful. And anytime you're handling any food product at all, please use gloves. They sell gloves at every store pretty much. Grab you some. Put them in your cupboard because you always need gloves, and no one wants you to touch their food empty-handed and barehanded. Okay, in regards to the meat products, we already talked about a little bit about not breaking down the cases. I'm also going to encourage you not to sample meat products. When you sample meat products, the USDA kind of wants to get involved. And so, of course, in your home, it's your home, and they have no jurisdiction in your home for your own personal use. They cannot say anything about that. But once you're in the public eye, if you're doing a show, a vendor fair, a boutique, anything like that, they take jurisdiction because you're in the public, and so you cannot sample meats. They get really upset if you sample meat. So please don't do it. We really encourage you not to sample meats. You also want to be really careful when you're sampling, even in your own home, to your customers. Everyone wants to know that it's prepared well, that it's been kept at the right temperature, that you are handling it correctly. Don't hand people things fresh from your hand. Once again, go back to those gloves. Get yourself some gloves. Always have containers to put the items in, whether you use little muffin cups or napkins, little plates. Please be prepared in that regard when you're sampling at home. We want you to sample. Sampling is what helps build your sales. As Julie's going to talk to you a little bit about sampling, how important it is, please sample. Just do it in the right way. Make it look professional. You are representing our company when you do it. Also, if you're at a show or a boutique or fair, if you are sampling, make sure it's okay with the company that you're working with, that they will allow those samples. Find out what they do allow, and then also prepare in the regard of having a trash can for your paper items that your customers are going to drop in the paper or in the garbage right as they walk away. And also have whether you need water to wash your hands, have some form of being able to clean your hands, and have gloves. So those are really important things. Also, if you're serving anything in a sample form for your shows or boutiques that's like a dip or a sauce, anything that needs to be refrigerated, you must keep it cool and refrigerated. It needs to be, you're not supposed to keep anything on room air for more than 2 hours. If it's on room air for more than 2 hours, you either need to dispose of it, or if it's put it back in the refrigerator, you've got to keep it cool at its correct temp. As far as dips and sauces, I would encourage you to use ice, and to set it on ice and keep it cool that way. A product needs to have, now if you're going to refreeze something, this is something to remember. If you have put something out to show and you want to put it back in the freezer before it gets too warm to refreeze, because a lot of products you can't refreeze, it needs to have ice crystals, and it needs to be above 40 degrees. So just remember that. It needs to be below 40 degrees, not above 40 degrees. So if you're going to put it back in the freezer, you want it to keep it no higher than 40 degrees in temperature, and with ice crystals on it, and go ahead and put it back in the freezer. There's a lot of things about our products that customers may not know. Sometimes you'll get asked ingredients on certain items, you don't know what they are, or how to prepare a certain item that maybe you haven't sampled yourself. So encourage your customers to go back to our website, or you go back to the website and find out for them. I would encourage you to do it, because if you go learn about the product, you're going to know that for the next customer already. And then you can also show that good customer service by getting the information to your customer. Everything should be able to be found on our website. Click on the product and then go to the ingredients and directions place, and your ingredients and directions are there. You should be able to find everything. If you cannot find things there that you're looking for, maybe for some reason it got left off. We have a few that are still, not having everything, and we apologize for that. We're working as hard as we can, but occasionally you'll find one that doesn't have ingredients or information. If that is the case, you can go to the website of the company that makes it, and you can find information there. A lot of times I'll have reps call me and ask me something, and if I can't find it on there, then I go dig a little deeper. And this doesn't hurt you. This helps you learn about those products. The more knowledge you have, the better of salesperson you are, because you can tell your customer all about it. Get used to doing that. That is a plus in your own business. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how to get ready to receive your product. First of all, I want to talk to you a little bit about before the truck comes. There's a lot of things to do before the truck comes, or if you're a local rep, before you go pick up your order. First of all, look and see where you are delivering your product. Are you delivering your product in the garage? I did that for years. I had a garage. I didn't have a lot of room in my house because I had 5 little kids running around, so I would do it in the garage. There's nothing wrong with doing it in the garage. It works. A lot of reps do it. All I would tell you to do is open your door, your garage door, and stand back, take a look at your garage door. What are your customers walking into to pick up food? That's the whole story. Are they walking into a clean and swept, orderly, garage that basically doesn't look like a garage, other than you might have a bike or two in there? It's clean, it's well lit, it's inviting to walk into, or are they walking into a garage that has a car in the corner, a motorcycle torn apart, garbage cans that your food are sitting right next to? That is not the impression that we would like you to present with Allison's Pantry. So take a look at where you're at and where you're delivering your food. If there's a better option, go for it and get it. A lot of reps will use their dining room. That is totally legit. That works too. Anywhere you can set up a clean and orderly place to divide your customers' orders up and have them there for them to come in and welcome them in and have it an inviting place. Make sure you have swept your floors, you mop your floors, you clean your countertops off, you do your dishes. Make sure that those areas are clean. If you are in the garage, cover up the stuff you don't want your people to see. No one wants to think of their beehive rolls sitting next to a garbage can. That's not cool, guys. That's not. So let's make sure that that's all cleaned out and you're making it look presentable and a place where you wouldn't mind picking up your food. If you have animals, this is always really catchy because I have a dog. I have a dog that is here, lives in my house. I am very particular about that dog and I don't like hair around, and so I would not want to pick up product from a place that has hair, dog hair or cat hair or whatever it is, footprints on the box from the animals walking all over it. So these are things that you need to make sure you are covering. Put your dogs away. I have a little fence that I lock my dog up when I do delivery because I don't want to go someone's house and have the dog be all over my product. I don't expect my customers to do that either. So just a little hint about animals. Be considerate to your customers. If you deliver in your vehicle, keep your car clean. Vacuum it, keep it presentable. It doesn't have to be without any spots. We live in the world and we drive down the road and it gets dirty, but make sure that you're not putting your boxes in there with the smashed French fries from the fast food or a spilled drink box from your son sitting right next to it. Those are things that people don't appreciate. Make sure you hand them a box that looks very nice and well kept and that you have been considerate of her product. Don't give her the other stuff. Don't do that. Be really careful with that. Nobody likes picking up food in a dirty surrounding, whether it's a car, a house, a garage, a shop, wherever you do your business. Remember, you're representing Allison's Pantry, and you don't want your customer wondering if her food is safe before she even gets it in her hands. Okay, another idea before you get your order. Clean out your freezers before your order arrives. You don't have time to reorganize it when the truck's sitting there to be ready to be unloaded, or when you come home and you already have your frozen in your back of your car and you need to get it into the freezer. You don't have time to organize it. You need to do that beforehand. So this is one of those things that you're going to want to think of. When you get your delivery schedule and you know your plan for when the truck's coming, then that's when you start thinking, okay, I've got to have my freezers organized and ready to put that product in there. Another thing you want to do before the truck comes, print out your invoices. As soon as the orders are processed, which for locals, it's the day after the order closes. For any of the other groups, it's the Friday following the order closing. When those orders are processed, You can go on, print your invoices, and then you'll know it'll also have the details on the bottom, whether the order was processed in full and paid in full, or if it was a declined order. You need to know that too. So go print those off and find out. Do this before your truck comes. You want to prepare any samples that you're giving before your truck comes. Have it ready. If it's something warm in a crock pot, have the crock pot set up and ready to go before your customers come so that you can hand it off and be as smooth as you can. If you have any contests that you've done and you need to give a gift for those, have those ready and labeled, and so that when you're sorting orders, you're not scatterbrained and grabbing, oh my gosh, who was it that won? You have it written down. You know the products are right there. You're putting them in there with their order. And the other last thing is if you use the Be Nourished flyer that we have every month, have it printed out before so that you can just grab one, put it with the invoice, get it ready for your customer. Pretty easy, right? It's a few steps, and once you get used to it and you make yourself a plan of what you need to do, you'll be able to get this done and have it really right at your fingertips when it's time for delivery. Okay, now when you receive your order, a couple of the really important things. When the truck comes, or even when you're doing a local pickup, I mean, I'm a local, I go pick up my order, I have to unload that order. It's not very fun to do it by yourself. As you all know, no one likes to get their order by themselves. It takes twice as long. You're tired at the end, you're grumpy because you've had to do all this work. That's not what we want. Let's get some help. So if you know your truck's coming, please try and arrange some help. I used to get my kids out of school for 1 hour to come and help me unload. I know it was probably not legit, but it was a mom's duty. So they helped me. And so find someone to help you. The faster you get your order off that truck or out of your car and get it sorted and in the freezer, the better for everybody. You, for your customer too. You need to report. The other thing you need to do is once you get those sorted, you need to make sure you do your inventory. We have a brand new inventory list. It's beautiful. It's easy to use. You're going to be able to go right down, check everything that you've got. Please do this before you hand anything out to any customer, because we all make mistakes, and we can all hand something to someone incorrectly or hand them something and forget that we handed them something and then turn around and tell the office that we are missing that product. We've all done it. So let's make sure, and to curb that problem, to make sure you do your inventory before you hand out any product. During doing that inventory will also allow you to know what you have that might be an extra product, or what you have that might be a short or missing that is a short product. Now, I just kind of use the rule of twos when I do this. Number one, if you're missing any product, you're going to call the first 2 people in front of you on the delivery schedule, the 2 back people behind you on the delivery schedule, and preferably you're going to do this within 2 days. 2 days, guys, 48 hours. Should be enough time to figure out if you're missing a product. It's technically 72. We'd like to have it earlier because it's easier to find if we do it quicker. So 2, 2, and 2. 2 days, 2 people in front, 2 people in back. And then if you cannot find it in that, then you're going to let Vicki know in the office who had the product that was missing, or who you're missing a product, what it was, and that you called those people and what their answers were. This will help everyone. And you're also going to let this be done by an email, because Vicki needs a paper trail. So please email your findings to her. She'll take care of it for you. Okay, another thing, when you're checking in those boxes and you come along and there's some tape on them, please be careful when you cut the boxes. I would really encourage you not to cut the boxes. If you can just pull the tape up and open them that way, it's better. The reason is because if you use any kind of a utensil to cut that tape, you run the risk of cutting the package underneath it. And I myself have done this. We've all done this. I'll admit it. And because I'm getting fast and I want to get it done fast, I just slice that box. Well, the bad thing is if I slice a brownie mix or a slice of cookie mix or a biscuit mix, whose fault is that? Well, it's mine. So because I took responsibility of this product when it came off the truck, it became my responsibility. So if I slice that bag open, guess who gets to fix it for the customer? Me. I get to pay for it and get her a new one. Now, occasionally, if it's not a big deal and you've just snipped a little hole in there, you can put some plastic tape on it and seal it up immediately. Then you can let your customer know what happened and offer her a discount. And yes, that discount comes out of my pocket, your pocket, because I'm the one who cut it. Now, if it came like that from the office, like if it happened to get damaged in trucking, then you need to let the office know and they will compensate you for that. But if it's your fault, be honest and own up to it and say, yep, I snipped the box, I gotta cover this, guys. So it makes you more careful about opening those boxes. Place any of your freezer items. So this is why you need to be fast and you need some help. You've got to place those freezer items in the freezer within 2 hours. Preferably, I say 1 hour. I just don't like to run the risk of anything melting. I hate it when I give people things it doesn't look good. And I really stress that. I get those things in there that are very heat conscious, like the ice creams, the berries, all of those things that stick together when they get soft or thawed. Nobody likes a clump of veggies. Nobody likes a clump of berries. Get them in the freezer as fast as possible. So try to shoot for an hour, but at the most 2 hours. You don't want to have to refreeze anything that's thawed like that. Okay, I have a little acronym. It's kind of hard, and I'm going to put this in a PDF so you can remember, but it stands for capstone. Because when you have a capstone on a building, or a capstone is the finishing touch. So if you will think of it as in the capstone, you'll remember the C is for clean your area. The A is for your car, your auto, or your animals. Get rid of them, clean your car. P is for print those invoices. And S is for samples, get them ready. T is for the truck delivery, be ready for that delivery, or in the case of locals, be ready to go pick up your order. O is for organize your inventory. Make sure you have everything checked off. You've done your inventory, you've got everything organized, easily to find for when the customer comes. N is for never leave out your frozen longer than 1 hour. And E is for get everything delivered within 1 week. And this is a guideline. This is not necessary, but it's going to help you if you have it within 1 week that you have everything delivered. Then you are not going to be stressing when the net 10 day comes up and you have to have money in your account because you did it at 7 days. Now, I personally, in my own business, I shoot for 48 hours. I want it out of my house within 48 hours because I don't have time to worry about it. I hate seeing orders sit on my kitchen table. This is about all I have for you today. I hope it hasn't been too terribly busy or boring, not too terribly boring. I hope you've learned a little something or refreshed your memory on what some of the requirements are that we need. I will go ahead and post a PDF with this at the end, and there's a few ideas about how big of freezers you need. It's some information that we did a year or so ago, but it's still good to refresh. So go ahead and print out that PDF if you want to remember anything we talked about, and good luck on your orders.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this segment of our webinar. I'm Becky Price, and I will be sharing with you how to get customers to spend more of their grocery money with Allison's Pantry. I'm sure all of you are wondering that very question because we all have customers who maybe they're only buying 1 or 2 things where some might be buying more, and hopefully you as a sales rep, you are buying the most. You are your best customer, because the reality is that if you as the sales rep are not buying everything that you need from Allison's Pantry first before running to the grocery store, why should your customers buy our products? If they were to come into your home and look in your freezer or your cupboard or your refrigerator, or if they were to come and have a meal at your house, would they see Allison's Pantry products? Would they see that you're using them and fixing meals for your family using them? Because we all need to eat at least 3 meals a day, if not snacks in between or even at bedtime. Are you using Allison's Pantry products to take care of your family's needs each month? So, a question I have for you that I want you to think about through this segment. What entices you to buy products from other people or companies? Keep that in mind as I go through some of these ideas. So, number one, you need to be setting the example and purchasing and using our products. Why is that so critical? Because you're setting the example for your customers. But by using those products, you are gaining product knowledge as a sales rep, so you can share with your customers the different products that your family loves and how you're using them. I had a customer show up to get her product. It was a flat iron steaks. So I pulled him out, and as I started to tell her about it, another customer walked in the door to get her order. So as I'm explaining to one customer about why I love this product so much and how easy these steaks are and the different seasonings you can put on it, this other customer was listening. And when she placed her next order, they were on her order, and she said, "It's because of what I heard you share with that other customer, that they had bought it and you were explaining how to use it. That made me excited to try them myself." So it's very important for you to be using our products so you can share those things with your customers. Number two, know your customers. Know what their needs are. Do they have gluten issues? Do they need a healthier product? Are they eating products that aren't processed? Do they need more whole foods? When you know that, you are going to be able to better share what products we sell will meet their needs. And it's great that we have this whole list of products on our website now that are gluten-free, and there are a lot of them. So many times I used to have people say, "You just don't sell very healthy stuff, do you?" And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't eat a lot of processed foods. I really am into more basic whole food cooking, and so I use a lot of our frozen vegetables. Absolutely love them. They're non-GMO, and people care about that kind of stuff. They are picked at the top of the peak of their ripeness and then quick frozen, so we are getting that high quality product in our homes to be able to use, because I live in a climate where I can't grow a garden hardly at all here in Wyoming. It's really hard for me. I don't have that great of a green thumb, so I appreciate that I can get this high quality product that has been grown to the peak of its ripeness and its health, and I can now use it in my home. So it's important for us to be able to share those kind of things and know what our customers need, and then share it with them. Let them know that they can search gluten-free items on our website. Let them know that they can look at the nutritionals and what is in each of these products. So if they can't have MSG, or they can't have high sodium, or they can't have high sugar content, they can go and see. Teach them how to use the website so they can see those things and meet their needs. Next, reminders. Sales reps, we can't stress this enough. How many times have you only seen something one time and thought, "Oh my gosh, I have to get it," and you immediately ordered it? You didn't wait and ponder and consider, is it something I can really use? Is this a good buy? Am I going to be wasting my money? How many times did you really consider what it was you were going to buy before you actually bought it? So it's the same thing with reminders. One reminder is not going to do it. You are going to have to continue to send reminders all the different ways that we encourage you to do until you reach them at a time that it's convenient for them to sit down and put an order together. Because that email, if they don't check email regularly, it may be a week or two or even a month before they see it. So just sending an email is not going to do it. That text message, they may get it while they're driving, or they're at a theater, or they're with their kids at a game, or they don't even see their phone that the text message came in. So it's not a convenient time for them to sit down and put together an order. That phone call, most of the time you're going to catch them, and hopefully they'll be ready to either give you an order or it'll be a good reminder for them to do it. But don't be afraid to keep sending reminders until you get a response from them. Something else that I did this time. And this is what I want to encourage you, because these are extra things, but they really helped out. Have you noticed customers will say, oh, I don't need anything this time, but thanks. And yet the next week or 2 weeks, you see them at the grocery store buying groceries and things that they could have got from us. I notice a lot of my customers, they're not thinking a whole month ahead anymore. They're just thinking maybe to dinner tonight or maybe to this weekend, but they are definitely not planning out a month of menus so they can make sure they get everything they need. And what happens when they run out after we've placed the order and before the next order comes in? They're running to the store. They're not starving. They're going to the store to get what they need, and we're losing those sales. So how do we help them to plan ahead? Well, I reminded my customers about meal planning. So I use this calendar. I do, because I used to not. I used to be one of these people that my kids would come home at 3:30 in the afternoon. Mom, what's for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still working. I'll think about it at 5 o'clock when I get off. Okay, now I don't have to. Now I fill out this calendar and I have an idea of what I'm going to be fixing every night. Even if I just put the main course, at least I know what I'm going to fix. But so that helps me with my meal planning. But then I look at it going, okay, so when I buy a case of boneless, skinless chicken breast, number 6519, I have enough chicken for 8 meals for my family. So I can fill in 8 meals. That's 2 a week that I'm going to use chicken. Then I think about sides. Okay, what kind of vegetables do I want to serve? Do I want to do mashed potatoes and gravy? What kind of fruit do I want to have? What kind of desserts do I want to prepare? Do I want bread products? And I can plan my meals out, and I can figure out what I already have in my freezer, what I'm going to run out of, what I'm going to need to stock back up on, and I'm able to place my order with Allison's Pantry first, and then I go to the store to get the things that I can't get from myself from Allison's Pantry to finish off those meals. Now, something else that might be helpful, maybe your customers are really struggling to come up with recipes and meal plans. So one of the things we did a while back is the staff members, we all came up with a meal that uses Allison's Pantry products, and we put a week of dinners together for you. Share this with your customers, or even better, personalize it and put together what you serve your family every day for a week. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, or you could just do dinners, and share that with your customers. That is going to be key in, number one, showing them you use your own products, giving them ideas on how to use our products, and helping them see how it's going to help them to plan out their month so they don't have to wonder or run to the store multiple times. When you're doing reminders, share these things. Make it personal. Share pictures of the meals that you're serving. Share recipes of things that you're making. Share an item that you're buying, and show your customers how great our products are that way. Next, advertising your business. How often do people know and see Allison's Pantry? How often do you talk about Allison's Pantry with your customers? Is it only during order time? Or are you doing things that keep Allison's Pantry in front of them all the time? Do you have a sign on your car so when you're driving past people, they see Allison's Pantry? How simple is that? You're not having to do anything but drive around and run your errands just like you have to do it anyway. Are you getting a catalog into their hands every month so that they've got it to look at, and it's sitting in their house on their desk or on their table, so it's a constant reminder? Are you posting things that you fixed today? Even though deadline just closed Monday, it wouldn't hurt you to post on Instagram or on your Facebook group, oh my gosh, we fixed this for dinner and it was amazing. This is what I used. This is what I did. My kids raved about it. Those are the kind of things your customers need to hear. Advertise your business. So advertise to your customers. Show them the products that we're selling. Show them what you're fixing in your home and what you love and how they can use them. Share the recipes that we post on Facebook. They're awesome. And these things will help your customers that when they think about groceries and fixing a meal, they're going to think, oh, I can get that from Allison's Pantry. Okay, next. Sample products to your customers. We're covering this month. All three of us are touching on sampling. This is so important. It gives your customers a chance to try something new that maybe they haven't tried. Maybe they've seen it, but they haven't been enticed to buy it yet. And letting them try it first, just getting a little bit of a taste of it, will really help them to decide if it's something they really would like. Here's a prime example. Several months ago, I decided to sample out our Buttermilk Biscuits, the Bridgeford Buttermilk Biscuits. Now, these are an awesome product. I hadn't really looked at them myself, but I thought, I'm going to try these. And we got them, and oh my word, they're wonderful. So, what I loved about them was that they can be heated up in a microwave for 30 seconds and they are ready to use for sausage and gravy on a biscuit or a breakfast biscuit or putting honey butter on it or whatever you want your biscuit for. 30 seconds in a microwave and it's ready to use. And so I ordered in a case of those, and I ordered in some flavored honey, or the honey butters, and I offered it to my customers as a sample while I was pulling their order that next month. And almost every single customer tried it. And again, we talk about food safety, so use plastic gloves, or I used a napkin. And so I pulled one out with a napkin. I set it into my microwave, cooked it 30 seconds while I started pulling their order. As soon as it was done, the customer pulled it out, put whatever honey butter they wanted on it, and they got to try it while I was pulling out their order. And you know what? I sold 7 cases of those buttermilk biscuits that month, and most of them told me it was because they got a chance to try it, that they did taste really good and they were so fast and easy, and they continued to buy them. It wasn't just a one-time buy. I continue to sell those as those customers run out and need more. So that was a great thing to sample out to my customers. And you can try all kinds of other products. I've had good success with some items, not so great with others, but that's okay. My customers know when they come to get their order each month, I'm going to have something for them to sample. So sampling is huge in exposing your customers to something new and seeing if it's something they would like to order for themselves. Next, if you can do this, I would strongly suggest carrying extra inventory. You don't have to have a whole lot, and it really depends on if you've got freezer space, if you want to carry frozen items versus dry items, or even some of our baking supplies and things that won't expire. I carry an inventory mainly because I do a farmer's market for 10 weeks during the summer, and I do several large fairs during the holidays at the end of the year. So I always have some kind of inventory. Keys with inventory that you have on hand to sell extra, I would encourage you to only buy in things that you are going to use in case you don't sell it and it gets to the point where it needs to be sold and used, or you're going to have to toss it. That way, I will just buy it in. I will buy it for my family from my inventory and we'll use it up. Or I will use it as a contest prize. Maybe I've got several mixes that are coming close to expiration or the best by date, and I'll have a contest and use those. So I can still write it off as a business expense. The last thing I want to share, we talked about meal plans. That is a great idea. Share recipes. Invite your customers to attend our product webinars. We aren't just putting these together for you. We're putting together for you to share with your customers. So why not invite them to attend firsthand and watch these webinars and see these great products, how to use them, recipes and ideas, and hopefully that will help them to get excited that they're going to want to buy that on their next order and try it out for themselves. I would also encourage the optional things that we tell you about. Having an open house, choosing several different items that you're going to prepare that your customers can try. It could be a theme. We covered 3 themes last month on our product webinar with seafood night, Italian night, and Mexican night. But you can do breakfast for dinner. You could do desserts, all the different kinds of desserts that we sell. You could do soup and bread night. There's all kinds of ideas, pizza night, of products in our catalog that you can choose a theme or just a different, maybe ask your customers what they would like to try. Maybe something they've been interested in but they haven't dared buy yet. Put out a survey and say, hey guys, I want to have an open house and I want to prepare some foods that you would like to try and see if it's something you would like to buy in for your family. And then prepare it. Or you could just do a whole nice meal for them and they could come and sit down and enjoy and try our products. That is a great idea. Tasting parties. If you've ever been to a home party for Tupperware or LuLaRoe or Pampered Chef, they have people come for the entire time. There is a script we have set up for you, game, you're doing a demonstration, you're talking about Allison's Pantry, so hopefully those people will get a really great idea of the products that we sell, and then one-on-one, you're going to talk to them and see what they think about it, and are they interested in ordering anything. So it's more of a one-on-one with them to try and get them to buy more of what they need from us. And the last thing is fair booths. Every time I do a fair booth in this area, I'm still seeing my regular customers because of course I'm inviting them to come and not only support my booth, but everybody else who's at that fair. So we have great attendance. But because I have product to sell at my fair booths, again, lots of times I'm selling those products to my customers. So fair booths are a great way to help them buy more of what they need from you also. So hopefully you've gotten some ideas of what is working and that the question I asked you in the beginning, what entices you to buy products from other people or companies? Hopefully I've answered that question for you and that I have given you some great ideas on how to reach out to your customers and help them get more of these great restaurant quality products that we sell that are better for them, that are bigger quantities so they're going to save money that way, and that we guarantee 100%. Thank you for attending tonight. I hope you have a great day.